That's right, kids. Good morning, GM. Yes, we're talking about that. Sticky necks. You don't like sticky necks, do you? Yeah, I know, because I hear you complain about it all the time. Don't ya? Let's talk about this. Sticky necks. Do they matter? Huh? Let me tell you something, man. Long story short, they probably don't. They probably don't. Maybe they do. And I got something for you here. Is your TikTok brain ready for this? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how long it'll take you to click off. Now, this is my first guitar. This guitar is a laser. It's a classical guitar, as you can see, but it's different in a way because the neck is narrower than your typical classical guitar when you think about a classical guitar, you think about a wide, an extra wide neck, probably like up to here even, with really wide spacing on the strings, between the strings. Let me go on a tangent, but excuse me, it's a bit hot in here, okay? So we're approaching summer and it's just gonna get hotter. My window is open, so you're gonna hear the outside world. But you're gonna be okay with it because number one, you are resilient. You guys are resilient, and I have my noise gate expander on. Okay? We try, don't we? Probably in the coming summer, I'll probably end up being topless, but I hope that doesn't have to end up that way. Now, the way I started off guitar was, I was in this was in 2004. I took a keen interest in guitar because my friends started bringing in a guitar into class. This was back in high school. They'd play the song, whatever song, we'd be sitting in a circle or whatever. We'd sing along. The problem was they either didn't know all the chords to the song, or so they played it wrong, or they just didn't finish the song because they didn't know the whole thing. Like that. That kept on happening over and over again, and I said, nah, I'm going to learn the guitar and I'm going to do all that good. So I asked my parents to buy a guitar for me because I'm interested in something. And lucky for me, they bought something that's not super cheap. I don't know, at that time, this was, I could probably say, it was a pretty good guitar back then. I think it's still pretty good now that I revisit this and have a look. This used to come with steel strings for some reason, but at the same time they seem like stainless. So I had 4 wound strings and 2 plain strings. The plain strings were, yeah, they were. I think they were stainless because they weren't corroding or doing that rusting thing. You know that when it feels disgusting and rough and all this other stuff. And then you got the normal phosphor bronze on here. But now I restrung it with nylons because I couldn't find those exact same strings that came with this guitar, because when I tried to get replacement acoustic strings, phosphor bronze and all that, I tried to get the same size or whatever, and for some reason it felt really tight on this. Unlike the first, it was probably some kind of proprietary string or whatever it was, right? And I'm very fortunate that my parents got me this because it's a guitar. It's pretty good, and it helped me along with my learning, the early stages of learning, and because I was very keen to learn to playing, you know that song. Well, I'm not gonna continue to play that song now because the YouTube AI thing, it seems to pick up, even if you're just playing the riff by itself on guitar, it still does the whole copyright thing and content ID, all this other stuff. Like, dude, I'm just playing a riff. Can I play a riff? Now this one is the fretboard used to be black. Obviously, it's painted because you can see it there, the play wear over the years. And yeah, so 2004. So this guitar is at least probably about 20 years old, and it's still pretty good, man. I don't really even take care of it, right? It's got dings on places as you would expect. I think this is made of plywood. What wood would this be made of, man? There's a strap inside, by the way, that's so you'll hear all that. And it has a truss rod. It's a laser brand. You see that? That laser. The laser. There. Faded decal. Come on, product showcase. Look at the action, bro. See that action? If it focuses. That's pretty low. That's unbelievable. Now, I don't know what kind of finish this is. Polyurethane or probably even nitro, who knows? At the time I didn't know, I didn't care. Glossy neck. Did I complain about sticky neck? Oh, I'm not gonna learn guitar anymore. No. I was too keen to play. Stickiness didn't even occur to me. Not for 1 second. Then, around the time, maybe a few years later, when I got my M1000, my ESP LTD M1000, finish neck, polyurethane finish everywhere. Again, I was playing that, no problem. My electric guitar before that was a really weird Joe Satriani looking thing. It's not an Ibanez, it's some random brand from my home country, and it played really bad, right? There's something wrong with the string alignment with the bridge, and the tension felt really strange, and it had 27 frets and 25.5 scale, and it's a weird guitar, very hard to play on. That one had a gloss neck too, gloss everywhere and what have you. Sticky, maybe, didn't occur to me. Most of the guitars that I've owned is probably glossy and with a gloss neck. I've probably had maybe 1, 2, and then two of them were satin, and I wasn't saying, oh man, this is a lot faster feeling. This was my ESP Eclipse, the one with the 4 knobs, the pre-lawsuit version, the one that Gibson got butthurt about. That one was a satin finish all around, great guitar. I wasn't all like, oh man, this is so much faster now, the satin neck. And then, come back to my glossy guitars, I didn't complain that, oh man, this is so much stickier. Nah, I just played, not affected. Does it, some people will try to get the smallest issues and then inflate them so that maybe they're probably too lazy to practice, and then they just use that to cope so that they don't really have to practice because they gotta complain about something. They think they are validated. They find validation from somewhere, from other people who are doing all that. Doesn't really matter. I will say though that when I was trying out some Gibson Les Paul standards, as I was looking for my first Gibson, that one has it's like a satin nitro, the faded series. But anyway, when I was trying out the other Gibson Les Paul standards, yeah, I did notice some stickiness. I will give it that, because the reason why is, I'll tell you exactly why. When I was going through these guitars, these Gibson fully gloss nitro finished Les Pauls, I'll just be playing, doing my chops and chords and stuff, and all of that. I felt like my hand kind of, something felt funny, and so I looked down, and then I felt the neck, and like, what's that feeling? Like, it's kind of catching a little bit, and then I even got that feeling, like I checked my hand, like some of the finish must have came off from the neck and then went onto my hand. I checked my hand if there was some residue in there or somewhere, because it felt so strange, almost like the nitro, the gloss nitro finish, the particles had interacted with my sweat. I don't know if that's true, if that's just in my mind, but yeah, I was just playing the chops and doing the checks, all of that, checking the fret work and all that, and handling the instrument, playing the instrument, and then I'd just be going. Like as if something came off of the neck and went on my hand. So I will give it that. But I'd never felt that with my first electric guitar, which was an El Cheapo, not so well built one. I never felt that with this. Whatever finish this is, some kind of shiny finish. I never felt it with the M1000. I never felt it with my PRSs. I never felt it with my Tanglewood. And that sticky stuff didn't occur to me with. At one point I had 3 Tanglewoods in total, because I loved the guitar so much that I the first one, which is the Gold Top, which I still have today, I loved it so much that I got 2 others, but then I ended up selling it because I needed to cut down. And I never felt it on my, what other guitars do I have? On the Epiphone Les Paul Custom, the inspired by Gibson stuff. Never felt it with that. Despite hearing other people, oh man, sticky neck this, sticky neck that, and then reading on forums, oh, this is sticky. It never, fortunately for me, all that cope never really penetrated my mind, because, every time I see, oh, what? I just move on. Grain of salt and move on. Sometimes when something's not affecting you, you probably just move on. Don't even entertain it. Like, don't even. I think it's gaslighting yourself. Like, hey, sticky neck, does that affect me? And then you start to. What do you call that? You start to call that into reality to yourself. Oh yeah, maybe I am experiencing some stickiness in the necks of my PRS that I've never ever felt before for years and years that I've owned it. Maybe I do feel it, and then you make that your reality. And whose fault is that? Instead of just concentrating on what matters, you're gonna listen to other people who are probably less practiced than you, know probably less than you, and then you're gonna get yourself down to that level. Come on, man, be better. Just play your instrument. All this sticky stuff. When you have a maybe this is now, I will grant that maybe this is a matter of what your biochemistry makeup is and what kind of chemicals you will have in your sweat when you sweat on your palms, how that interacts with like the common polyurethane finishes, a nitro finish. If you bought an expensive guitar with nitro, they only come in nitro finishes are mostly in expensive guitars, right? I don't know. Some of the guitars that I own are probably nitro finish, but I never really noticed, never paid attention to that. All I know is there's a satin finish, there's an unfinished, there's a fully sealed finish, and I play the instrument, and then I just notice things as I go, or not notice things as I go. But man, when I revisit this guitar now, whoever made this guitar, whatever factory this came out of and all, the frets are level. The frets might be small and they're all oxidized and stuff from over the years, and can we focus? And I've never really got interested in polishing them. And this doesn't have a plug-in or anything. It's kind of bare bones, but it has a truss rod. And I had to carve out the dots because the dots that it used to have was just a kind of like a painted or some kind of decal on top of the lacquer, so it just wore out, just like the logo on this one. It's still wearing out to this day. It's not totally worn out yet. Laser L something 100A model number. Laser Superior Instruments. I mean, yeah, I thought it was pretty superior at the time because the guitars that I felt from my other friends that they brought in, it didn't quite feel right. This one felt the easiest to play. Everyone wanted to play my guitar, but the knot was cut pretty good. Like, I'm looking at it now. Like, over the years, it probably worn down a bit, but it's still, yeah. The E and the E and the A string still has a tiny gap. I'm pressing. The way I'm checking it is I'm fretting here. I'm saying the second fret. You know, you normally say the third fret, but you're really on the second fret because you're looking this way. If I was looking this way, yeah, third fret, because it's the third fret. But in this context, we're fretting the second fret because we're looking here on this side, and we're looking at the distance between the top of the first fret and the bottom of the string. There's a gap there. There's a gap here, tiny gap. It's good. This one, I think it's touching. The string is touching the first fret, and this one, yeah, there's a tiny gap there. Yeah, there's the tiny gap there. There's a tiny gap there. Over the years, it's been pretty good, this one. This has been thrown around, been chucked in the boot of the car with other things. I neglected the care for it. I should take care of it more and respect this instrument because this is where it all started. This was the genesis. One of the earliest songs that I play, and then when I played this song, I learned that song early on, and then my friends were impressed because that was a difficult thing to do at that time, back in those days, and there weren't many virtuosos at that time in my vicinity, so that was a pretty good confidence boost. That one too. So don't worry about sticky necks. Play your damn instrument, bro. Just keep playing. Play till 2 a.m. Suck it up. Do whatever you gotta do. I didn't have to do whatever I gotta do because it didn't occur to me. Didn't zero. And the Gibson I got now, I'm not gonna be worrying about that because the model that I happen to like has a thinner finish. So, but if I took the regular standard with the full fat gloss finish, nitro, full gloss, I probably would have made do. If the guitar was overall good enough, it feels magical to me, and what have you. So, will you just play? Will you create the discipline that you can? You can choose to, or you can choose not to. That's your prerogative, isn't it? You can choose to say, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna practice for 1 hour, and in that 1 hour, I'll plan out what I'll be practicing. Whether it's gonna be one thing for a whole hour, or two things, yada yada. What will you do now? Moving forward, what will you do? Huh? In the meantime, click the like button, or dislike if you didn't like it. That's okay. It's okay, we can disagree. We're not snowflakes over here, are we? Car passing by. But apart from that, click whatever buttons you want. Do whatever you like. Whatever the consequence is, you don't complain about it because it's your choosing. You understand? Good morning. GM.